report that I only report what I hear. So that's part of it. So part of this will be what happened the last couple of days. Some of it is the message. Some of it might have a little bit of levity. So if you sat next to me, if you rode in the car with me, if you sat at my dinner table, or if you were in line with me at the food, there's a good chance you may be quoted in trouble. So first we had the mad scramble for the laptop turn-in. Does everybody remember that? 13 people talking to one IT person, simulcast, telling him what was going on. And then depending on which part of Ruby and Raphael you listen to, we're either 93%, 94%, or 95% of plan.
Who's counting?
But we just had our best month since 2006. So we heard from Raphael about time on a Greek island with his friends from 42 countries. We heard thank you to Dwight, Gene, and John for being with us for their first meeting. And one more round of applause. And we thanked Richard from Central Casting. Let's thank him again for all he's done for our website. And we were challenged to get out of our zone of comfort and told that we don't want to be like General Motors. We heard words like organic, international, technology, and brand, and if you could get it down to one sentence: grow organically, expand internationally, leverage technology, and understand who we are, know our brand. We heard about the power of the group and our unique advantage. And then Pete nominated me to be the scribe. We heard from Steve and Bill about empty seats. Bill said, "Is everyone clear?" Steve said, "I'm not totally clear." Then Bob Dabbitt came up to me on break and he said, "Larry, would you write something that makes me sound really witty?" And I paused and I looked at him, and then he said, "Please make me sound intelligent." So then we had our breakouts, and we were told, give a chair a fish and he eats for a day. Teach him to fish and he eats for a lifetime. We talked about filling empty seats. Dwight said to me, as we were between the breakouts and coming to the front, it looks like a break created itself here, and Steve was trying to get everybody to come back. Bill looked at all the flip charts around the room and said, there's a lot of grist on these flip charts, and we got a new name, a new word to use in all of our chair meetings: grist, the power of grist. Then Bill said, do it right from your corner, and that's where the presentations happened. Janet said, mandatory, we know we can't use that word. And then she used words like poisoning the well, sacred cows, weeding a spade is a spade, and hunting in packs. Al said we need more Susan Rubens. And then he mentioned something about dismal Sea Beach, Iowa. Was that Iowa or was that Iowa? Then Brant said again, it's all about the fish. And we talked about an after-school program for chairs. And we heard about if the Y is big enough, the how will take care of itself. And then we all agreed to support the most incompetent, struggling chairs. And there was unanimous approval for a $10,000 slush fund for all to be used for whatever you want. Dwight told us that empty seats is an abundance paradigm, and we need to eliminate our limiting beliefs. Phil said if we want excellent numbers, we will need to pay for them. Leads right into Then someone said, I wish we had a one-pager in the form of a song. Everybody glanced towards Bob, and he said, I've got a one-page form, buddy, with hand signals. Actually intelligent. Then, just as Karen had the courage a year or so ago to transform a BPC meeting, Bill said, I think we'd see more value if we could process our real issues. which I think was a great turning point. Then Jeannie shared the event strategies for M2Ms, CDWs, CCEs, all cities, ABCs, and DEFs. More acronyms coming soon. Sometimes I don't hear the whole conversations, but Michael talked about altitude airspace and altitude, and Big Bird Stemple, and Wurtenberg if he ever comes back to the United States, and it went on and on. Janet said, okay, let's do the moonwalk. Remember the moonwalk? And Bob said, what do you say when a member says he is dropping? And we talked about meeting revealing questions. So we had a wonderful day yesterday, and then we all gathered at 6 p.m. and got in the cars. And I don't know what happened in your car, but in my car, Karen was talking about your daughter?
Yes.
Don't know the whole context. I was running late. I was in the elevator. So Kathy called my wife in Kansas City and said, where is your husband?
I'm picking him up for dinner.
I was in the elevator. What did you say?
I said, that's an interesting conversation for you to be having with his wife.
Deacon looks up and just says, don't sit next to Larry Hawks. Lisa, paying no attention, 5 minutes later sits down next to me and says, I have a control issue. Do we need to work my issue? Michael, do you have anything you can share on that? Then Dwight says to Pete, why are you fingering a knife? Pete, still not letting go, said, well, after the meeting was hijacked, to be SVP of the East are very low. But you know, I don't even know what I can say about it. What would you say about it?
Vicky C.
Vicky C, what would you say about it, Rat?
Officer Vicky to see in the house.
Now, stand and say it with gusto. Bring us back. There you go.
Omniscient, omnipresent, and infallible.
Yeah!